All right, so lastly, we are going to work on area of shaded regions. So make sure you have your notes and a pencil, and let's go. All right, so our first example is this box. It says a 2 foot by 2 foot square is divided into smaller squares, and portions are shaded. What is the area of the shaded portion? So if it's 2 feet by 2 feet, that means this side over here is 2, and we can say this one's 2. They're all 2, so it doesn't really matter which side you pick. So we can do this a couple different ways. Either we can find the area first and then divide by how many sections there are, but then you have to multiply by however many shaded regions there are. You can do it that way, or you can figure out how much one little square is and then just multiply by how many squares are shaded. So let's do it that way, and then I'll go off to the side and show the other way just so you can have it written down too, okay? So if this whole side on the right is 2 feet, then that means this is 1 foot. So that means one of these squares, it's half. And since they are squares, that means the base is half and the height is half. So our area of these, you use base times height, and that means it's 1/2 times 1/2. And if you remember with fractions, you multiply straight across. So 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4. So the area of one of those squares is 1/4 of a foot. So now we need to see how many, that was rude. We need to see how many we have all together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these shaded regions. So that means I have to do 1/4 times 6. So you could add 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 6 times. That's too difficult for me. I'm just going to multiply. So remember, any number can be put over 1. So then 1 times 6 is 6. 4 times 1 is 4. So this is 6 over 4. And if I simplify that, 4 can go into 6 one time. And there's going to be 2 of the 4 left, or 1.5. So the area of the shaded region is 1.5 feet squared. All right, so I'm going to go through and write the other way to do it, and you will copy it down also. All right, this is the other way to solve this problem. So if we know this whole side, oops, sorry, I thought my pen was on. This whole side is 2, and this one is 2. We have to find the area of the whole thing. So base times height. So that'll be 2 times 2. So there, the whole thing is 4 feet squared. But we need to figure out what 1 is. So if the whole thing is 4, and we have 16, because 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4 is 16. I have to do 4 divided by 16. You can simplify that. It becomes 1/4 for one of the squares. And then just like we did earlier, we have 6 of them. So I'm going to multiply it by 6 for the 6 shaded tiles. And you'll get the same answer. So it'll end up being 1.5, just like the last one. So you pick which way makes the most sense to you and solve it that way. All right, our next example, a rectangle is inscribed in a trapezoid. That just means it's inside of it. Determine the area of the shaded region. So we have to find the area of the trapezoid and the rectangle. So let's do the rectangle first because it's the easiest. So it's telling us this side is 5 and that's 7. I know area for rectangle is just base times height. So it's just 7 times 5. So the area is 35. I like writing it in there if I'm able to, like if I have the problem in front of me, just so I don't forget. So now let's find the area of our trapezoid. Formula for area of a trapezoid is the 1/2 B1 plus B2 times the height. So base 1 will make 15, base 2 is 10, the height is 8. So I'm going to add 15 and 10. So we have 25, 8, and we have to take half of something. So I'm going to take half of 8. So then I'm just left with 4 times 25. And I know, because I'm thinking money, 25 cents, 4 of those would make $1, which is 100. So the trapezoid is 100. But we are not done. Since we just want the shaded region on these, we have to subtract our non-shaded region. So we have to do 100 minus 35. So I'm going to borrow, make that 9. So the area of our shaded region is 65 inches squared. So shaded, you're going to subtract stuff. Shaded, subtract. Remember that. All right, so now we have a patio, and it's going to be landscaped with trees and shrubs. How many square feet of landscaping will be around the patio? So this one's a little different. We could find the area of each of the big rectangles right here, and then find the area of this one and subtract it from it. That's too difficult. I don't want to do it that way. If it makes sense to you, great, you can do it that way. I'm going to actually break up these into, so I have 4 rectangles I have to find the area of. All right, so I see it says this right here is 3. So for this area, it's going to be base times height. So it's going to be 3 times 8, which is 24. And I look over here on this side and I see this one's also the same. So it's going to be 24. So if this little section right here is 3 and the whole thing is 14 up top, that means this has to be 11. So the area for that one is going to be base times height. So 11 times 3, which is 33. And then you look here, all the measurements are the same. So that one is also 33. So now I'm going to add all of these together. So we got 2 33s and 2 24s. I will go and show you the other way of doing it on the next one, just so you can see it if it makes sense for you. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it is 114 feet squared that will be landscaped. So I started doing the video to walk through this the other way. It is way too complicated. If you want to see it, then once you finish this video, come over to me and I can try to explain it. But I don't want to do it for everyone because I know it's going to confuse people because it's even confusing me. Okay, but if you want to see it, come over and I can show you how to do it that way. Okay. All right. And our last example, just find the area of the shaded region. So first we have to find the area of this whole thing. So it's going to be base times height. Base is 9, height is 9. So there, the whole thing is 81. Then we need to figure out just the shaded part. So we have to find this triangle and get rid of it. So since it's a triangle, it's going to be 1/2 base times height. So the base is the same. It's still 9. And the height, you can see, it goes from top to bottom. It's still 9. So then we have to take 1/2 of 81. So half means divide. So I'm going to divide 81 by 2. 2 can go into 1 0 times. So 0, bring down a 0 and add a decimal. 2 can go into 10 5 times. So it is 40.5 for the triangle. And we have to subtract that from 81. So if you subtract, so 10 minus 5, 0, 4. So the area of the shaded region is 40.5.